What's up everybody, it's your boy Victor, back at it again with the video reviews. But this time, I'm reviewing the 1/6 scale figure, Hot Toys movie masterpiece, 294, Batman Returns as Batman and Bruce Wayne. So, for the two people that actually follow my channel, thanks creepy old lady from work that doesn't speak English and for some weird reason is following me. You guys know how this is going to go. I'm going to be reviewing both Batman and Bruce Wayne on 4 different categories. First it's going to be on the packaging, then it'll be on the likeness, then it'll be the articulation, and last, the accessories. Alright, let's get right into the packaging. This is the Hot Toys box that it comes in, pretty standard stuff. Glad it comes with the Hot Toys box though. So here's the actual box. It's a shoebox style box with a clamshell on the inside holding the figures. It's really cool. The details on the logo here has a kind of material on it that just feels really cool. Makes me giggle inside. If I move the box around, you can see on the sides, it's gonna have, just says Batman Bruce Wayne. It's got the figure information on both sides. And on the back, it has all the figure information, but it's got a silhouette of the Batman animated series Batman for some reason. Still looks cool though. Nobody reads this probably though. Alright, let's get this bad boy open. So it says Batman and Bruce Wayne, got figure information, basically covers it. Let's take this out. Ooh, now you got everything here. Nice. Alright, so let's get this first top clamshell off to see we can actually see everything clearly. Cool, so we got the clamshell off and now you get to actually see all the Batman goodness. Just gonna go through everything very quickly. Let's go through the Batman checklist real fast. We got 2 extra mouth plates. Both of them very similar. We got Batman looking a little angry at somebody right now. His bat suit. His cape is behind there, I take it. Alright, so we got his extra hands, his extra peg. We got napalm packets here. We got the Batman remote, signal jammer, the line launcher, the grapple gun, the batarang. Yeah, here's the extra cowl that comes with it when you bought the 2-piece together, so you could put Keaton in it. Here's the extra mask that also comes with it. Here's Bruce Wayne's extra hands, extra pegs, figure stand, nice tux. Nice. So, for the packaging, I'm gonna give it a 4 out of 5 because it really hits all the marks except that it's not a DX style kind of box, and me that has the DX08 and DX09, it had the extra foam cushioning in it, and it just seemed the extra step for a collector that, you know, you give it a 5 out of 5 if it had it. So it doesn't have the DX style kind of box. It's, like I said, a shoebox style, clamshell on the inside. Everything looks amazing, so I'm just gonna be fair. I'm gonna give it a 4 out of 5. Okay, so moving on to the likeness now, and I have to first address the giant sized elephant in the room right now. What are those? Yes, ladies and gentlemen, Batman's best faceplate came defective straight out of the Hot Toys factory, which In all honesty, sucks monkey balls, but hey, maybe it makes my 2-pack more valuable now? Okay, probably not. So, until I get an actual replacement, I'm just gonna pretend it's a bruise on his chin to make me feel better about it. Regardless, let's get into the actual likeness of both figures with Batman first and Michael Keaton next. So the likeness to Batman on this figure is absolutely ridiculously off the charts on this figure, and it's probably the main highlight of buying this collectible. This should come as no surprise considering how amazing the DX09 is, but it just can't be overstated. It really looks like a miniaturized Keaton in the suit here, and it is just a sight to behold. To put it bluntly, this head sculpt is just straight gorgy. Look at that. It's a thing of beauty. Now, my favorite cowl has always been the 89 version, but when you have 1/6 scale figures of both Batman like I do, and you closely examine each of them, I don't know, I just think the return smash slightly edges out the original 89 version. Because the cowl is just much more menacing with the sharper ears and the sleeker yet angrier design. You know, it comes across as more aggressive or intimidating, and that's what Batman is all about. Like, look at that. That's ridiculous. Moving on to the Batsuit itself, the return suit for the movie was made out of a thinner, slightly more flexible foam rubber material when compared to the 89 one. The suit had been changed to a more angular version with industrialized lines. You can see on here, basically they went for a more Art Deco-y design with hard mechanical lines and plating. You'll see them here on the pectoral, on the abs, and basically all around the suit, even on the back and on the shoulders and arms. Also, Warner Brothers did receive the license to use the standard 2 feet point bat emblem that obviously wasn't granted at the time of shooting for the first Batman movie, but that's why the resemblance to the more iconic DC Batman bat emblem was in this one. Here's a closer look at that bat emblem that I'm talking about. And just for comparison's sake, the 89 version is this one. So the suit on the figure is a very smooth rubber with some definite space between it and the body inside. I don't know if you can see as I push the figure. But, you know, the problem that this creates for posability is that any kind of a ab crunch is definitely going to fold the rubber up, and any movement from the shoulders and arms can and will fold the rubber as well, similar to the Arkham City Batman by Hot Toys. So in my opinion, these suits are not meant to be kept in any kind of a stressful pose, especially over a lengthy period of time. I would just recommend keeping them in a statue pose to prolong the life of the suit. Now the belt is almost identical to the 89 belt, except there does appear to be a little bit more detail on the buckle, and it has a goldish tint to it as opposed to the more brightly yellow of the DX09. There's some people out there that have modded the belt already so that it sits lower on his waist to, I guess, be more movie accurate, but you know, me personally, I find the belt to be perfect. I can lower it or lift it up wherever I need it to go, so I definitely won't be going that route after receiving the figure. Now the gauntlets are less bulky when compared to the DX09 version, but the gauntlet spikes themselves are much sharper this time around, so be very careful. Whenever I accidentally stab myself with one of these spikes, I'm reminded that I'm not actually dreaming, and that yes, this figure was finally released after 4 years of waiting. A quick pro tip on a museum pose would be probably to rotate these gauntlets with the spikes pointing inwards. You probably wouldn't want the spikes to poke holes into the improved cape. So just very quickly, just wanted to address that the crinkles on the suit behind the elbows and knees are there by design and is not in fact a defect. I believe they're there to help these joints bend better with the suit. So I'll just kind of move the arm if I can do that really quickly. These little crinkles here. The figure comes with the arm straight down, but the crinkles are already there. And again, I think that's by design, so not a defect. Moving on down to Batman's boots, and all I can say is, damn, Batman! With the black Air Jordan 6s! Tasty, man! One of my favorite parts of Batman's suit has to be the iconic Jordan 6s that he was rocking in the movie. In the original Batman movie, he wore some Nike Air Trainer 3s, but in returns, they upgraded him to some Jordans, which Enerbay hasn't even released Jordan 6s yet. The Batman logo was also inserted in the shin guards this time around, which to me just makes it look even more sick. Now let's go over Batman's cape, which has been somewhat controversial since its December release. Basically, the majority of collectors are agreeing that the DX09 cape was so terrible that this is an improvement, but they're still finding this cape to be, I don't know, very cumbersome just to futz around with, so I'm just going to give you my quick thoughts. Firstly, the cape looks very movie accurate to me, as it gives the appearance of leather, even though it's actually more a pleather-like material. It also has wires inside the cape, which help with the futzing, and while I did expect it to be a pain in the ass to manipulate, I've actually found it to be very easy to mess with, so thank you, Hot Toys. I will say that for a better, more natural drape, you're probably better off purchasing a custom cape from Tony May or someone. Or you could just remove the wires in the cape like Dean Knight did in one of his videos. It turned out pretty nicely as well. All of this adds up to a very easy 5 out of 5 for the likeness on Batman. So let's move on to the likeness of Bruce Wayne. So, more controversy here is pretty much everyone hated the prototype of this head sculpt when it was first shown, and Hot Toys did update the head sculpt since then, but it still looks similar to the prototype, which was fine by me because I was one of the few that actually liked it from the beginning. I even heard some people say that the head sculpt looks more like Alexander Knox than Keaton, but I call bollocks. If anything, it looks more like Birdman. Did you see what I did there? Okay, so I can admit that the head sculpt isn't perfect, but it still looks dope to me, especially on the broken cowl, which I'll show later. So Hot Toys gave Bruce Wayne his tuxedo that he wore at Shrek's Masquerade Ball when he was looking for Selina Kyle. And the tux is pretty amazing itself. The material is just fantastic, from the collar onto the tux to the pants. You know, it even came ironed, even down to his very shiny and really authentic looking dress shoes. All of it looks pretty legit. The craftsmanship on his outfit is exactly what I would have hoped for, so, you know, kudos to Hot Toys again on that. If there's anything to complain about, though, it'd have to be his skin tone. Now, I'm probably the most colorblind person on YouTube right now, so when I notice that he's a little too dark, then you know there's an issue. When my main man Keaton has got the same damn skin tone as Scottie Pippen, you know there's a problem. Okay, so I gotta be fair on the likeness for this figure, and while I enjoy it and think it's pretty good, I'm gonna be fair with the skin tone issues and whatnot. We're gonna give it a 3 out of 5 for likeness. Moving on to articulation, and sad to say, this Batman cannot pull off the Van Damme splits. Okay, so no one's expecting this figure to actually be able to do too much besides the statue pose. This is going to be because of the suit that hinders a lot of the articulation on it, but it does come with 30 points of articulation according to Hot Toys, and you know, I'll believe it that it's for the body under the suit. But as far as everything else goes, it does have the ratchet joints in the arms and legs. This is a huge improvement over the 89 one, considering my DX09 was not able to move its arms at all, except for keeping them at their side. It would just always move back down, but the ratchet joints allow it to pull off some really cool poses. I don't know if you could see it right here. This is the classic one. It just looks pretty dope. So I just want to take a closer look at this pose that I gave it. This is where the rubber is going to bunch up, and I don't know if you can see that. There's probably some of the liquid from the rubber touching each other. So, you know, that's why we, again, stress not to leave them in these poses for too long. I mean, you definitely can if you want to, but, you know, you're probably going to ruin the suit. So it's pretty much got to stay like the statue pose of DX09. But I think this proves that, you know, the articulation is much improved from the previous Batman. And for pictures and video, stuff like that, you can definitely put it in some pretty cool poses. So I'll see what else I can do with it, but I think this is a pretty good demonstration of what you can actually do with it, just for a short amount of time, obviously. All things considered, it is an improvement over the previous one, and that's why I'm going to give the articulation a 3 out of 5. Please stop expecting him to move his head in the cowl, because that's just not accurate, okay? So, for the articulation for Mr. Bruce Wayne, I'm gonna give it a 4 out of 5. And that's because it's a basic true type body from Hot Toys. It does all the poses that you would probably want to do with you know, a tuxedoed Bruce Wayne. So he's not going to be Spider-Man and be able to do crazy things, but you know, the true type body with the tuxedo that he's wearing allows him to do pretty much anything that you would want to do, at least for display purposes. So again, I'm just going to give Bruce Wayne a 4 out of 5 for articulation. Moving on to the accessories, and oh my gosh, does this come with a lot of stuff. I would still consider this a DX figure set, just minus the extra packaging. Let's quickly go over all the accessories that come with this beautiful set. So let's start with the Bruce Wayne figure stand that it comes with. It's a regular Hot Toys one. I actually bought a separate DX style base for my Bruce Wayne because it just looks better for a couple bucks. But it is nice to have the regular stand. You know, it says Bruce Wayne. I'm just keeping it in its package since I'm not going to need it. We got the mini plunger here that is used to move the eyeballs inside the Batman figure. And on the opposite end, you would use to push out the different face plates. I'll show that in a little bit. So the figure comes with 4 sets of hands and 1 extra left hand for a total of 9 different interchangeable hands, which is much appreciated. It's pretty much the same thing as the DX09 hands, so nothing really a surprise here. Each one are for holding different gadgets, which, you know, it's pretty cool. You have the instruction sheet here that you should definitely read just gives you a lot of insight into how to move the character, how to work everything, which hands go for which gadgets, so I would definitely recommend reading it. Here's a look at Batman's 2 other faceplates that conveniently didn't come with any paint smudge marks on his chins like the one that I have on right now. So that's good, but not a fan of the faces like everyone else. Obviously they're way too similar. I don't know if it's like a fish lips that he's doing, or you know, he's about to take a selfie, but I think one of them, I think it's the right one, is the I get the things change part of the movie. So maybe that's what he's saying, or maybe when he's speaking to the remote that he has for his Batmobile, maybe. I don't know. Either way, they should have came with better ones, without a doubt. They're still good though. They're still good, but still, it's just not what everyone would have wanted. Real quickly, these faceplates do not mix and match with the DX09. They're just built differently. So if anyone knows someone that's gonna make custom faces, hit a brother up. Let's play the How Well Do We Know Our Batman Gadgets? Let's start with the Batarang, and in Batman Returns he upgraded his Batarang to a self-guided Batarang that he used to take out some of the thugs in the circus gang, which the dog then caught, and this exact Batarang was used later to frame Batman for the murder of the Ice Princess. Here's the line launcher that was used in the movie Batman Returns. I believe he used it when he had found the Ice Princess who was being held captive, and later at the final of the movie, I believe when he launched himself into the Arctic Zoo where the penguin was. So if anyone remembers, in the '89 movie, it was a huge line launcher that came with the DX09, and you know, basically when they updated it, they just made it much more compact so that it would work easier for Batman. So it's pretty cool. It comes with 2 extra ropes so that each one can be connected to one side, meaning those little arrows do pop out. It's a cool touch because it's got the hand where he actually pulls the trigger on it, if you can see right there. Let me see if I can focus in on that. Pretty cool touch. The figure comes with 2 napalm packets that Batman did use in the movie. Used it once when he was on the rooftops and he threw it onto Catwoman. Here's a signal jammer that was used by Batman to turn the Penguin Army against him at the end of the movie. It even has a button to press. You definitely won't be able to see that, but that's a really cool touch. So basically you can squeeze this, and this is the signal jammer that does magnetize, I believe, onto the belt. That's pretty cool. Here's Batman's iconic grapple gun that he uses in both Batman Returns and in the 1989 Batman movie. Always been a fan of this grapple gun and always thought it was so cool. The craftsmanship on it is amazing. It's just like the DX09 one, so nothing really new here, except it's still as amazing as it was the last time around. Moving on Bruce Wayne's hands, and he also has 4 pairs of interchangeable hands. We got some extra pegs as always, much appreciated. You know, he's got fisted hands, relaxed hands, some nose picking hands, some blaming a fart on someone else's hands. No, these are all, I believe they hold different gadgets of Batman, so that's kind of cool. Like you can make them hold the Batarang, I believe. Craftsmanship is good. Again, the only real mark you can say is the skin tone is just not correct. Keaton is obviously not that dark. I don't know if you can see it, but it's pretty much just like his skin tone there. It's just not as ballin' as it needs to be. Here we got the extra broken cowl that comes with the figure and the extra mask that comes when you get the 2-pack set. It's the bonus accessory, and it is probably one of the coolest bonus accessories Hot Toys has ever come out with. I think it looks amazing when you take the head sculpt off the Bruce Wayne and you throw it onto this cowl. I plan on showing that here in a little bit, so stay tuned for that, but it just is amazing. The level of detail on it, the quality, it's just off the charts. It's ridiculous. So amazing. It really went above and beyond, went the extra step to make sure that everything was how it should have been. And can't thank Hot Toys enough for that. Let's move on to the base now, and it is a DX style base, very similar to the DX08 and DX09 stands, except for the different decal on the front that more reminds me of the "I'm in love with the Coco, Coco." But obviously it's more the snow for Batman Returns, since everyone knows it's a Christmas movie, but it just looks amazing. Wait, is that Coco? No, I'm just kidding. But it looks awesome. That's why I had to get a second one myself. Just wanted to match it up perfectly in my detolf cabinet above the DX08, DX09. Cool stuff. Very quickly, just wanted to go into the, not the PERS, but the actual SIRS, the single eyeball rolling system that it has. It just works really well. I'm sure a lot of people have shown it already, so no really need to go into it. But I did want to just kind of show that compared to the DX09, the seal of it is hidden a lot better, that in some angles you kind of don't even notice it. But yeah, being able to control both eyeballs individually is a huge improvement over the parallel eyeball rolling system that they used before. Alright, so let's take one step back and take a look at everything that comes with the set one last time. I'm sure everyone will agree that this comes with a ton of accessories, making it a very, very easy 5 out of 5 for accessories. Okay, so to anybody that wasn't keeping track of the score, let's round up the totals. But first, just take a look at how dope that looks. The broken cowl. Beautiful. So, for the Batman, we gave him a packaging score of 4 out of 5. The likeness, a 5 out of 5. The articulation, a 3 out of 5. And the accessories, a 5 out of 5, for a grand total of 17 out of 20, which is a great score, all things considered. For the Bruce Wayne, the packaging again was a 4 out of 5. The likeness was a 3 out of 5. The articulation, a 4 out of 5. And the accessories, a 5 out of 5, for a total of 16 out of 20. So I want to thank everybody for watching the video, especially those that have made it thus far. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment on the video below. I highly, highly recommend picking up this figure from Hot Toys, especially if you're a Bat fan. Anyways, thanks again, guys, and stay tuned to the next one.